Good evening, and thank you for joining us for our 2015 Hospice Telethon here on News Channel 2. I'm Kristen Copeland along with Don Shipman, and over the next hour, we are going to introduce you to the patients that have made hospice their family in their final days, and when it's important to call hospice, when you should make that decision and call. But you do see that number at the bottom of your screen. We're trying to raise money for the services here and keep them here in the Mohawk Valley. Hospice serves Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison counties.
And there are a lot of misconceptions and myths out there when it comes to hospice. People think that hospice is just end-of-life care, but we're here to explain that it's not just that, and how important it is to call early, get to know the staff before it reaches that point where there's where you feel like you have no other avenue or something like that.
Right. Wouldn't you rather be around people you're comfortable with and you know and you've built a relationship with? And I think that's what the point you're making is if you wait too long to call, then these are strangers coming into your home. And it's wonderful that 90% of patients are cared for in the comfort of their own home, and each is assigned a team, whether it be an LPN, an RN, a chaplain. A whole unit is assigned to you to make sure you're living out your final days in peace and comfort.
And we've heard so many family members tell hospice and tell us when they've come on News Talk and talked about this that they really do wish they did call earlier. They love the services that were provided, but they wish that they would have called earlier because, one, it helps out their loved one who had passed away, but it also helps them out. There's so much stress on family members during a time like that. This is their way to maybe get out of the house for a moment, go pick up some groceries if they need to, anything to kind of recharge themselves.
And realize that the weight of the world is not on their shoulders. You do have a unit of support. And if you do call early enough, like we said, they become family to you. When a patient passes, hospice doesn't go away. Bereavement services, support groups, you make friends, lifelong friends. So that's what hospice is all about. 1-800-411-6367. And I want to bring up Denise from NBT because this is her crew behind us, not only answering the phones and volunteering, but also bringing in a $2,000 check. So Denise, thank you so much for coming here today, this evening, volunteering. Let's talk about this money, where it comes from, and why you picked hospice as your charity of choice to close out the year.
NBT Bank donated the $2,000 to hospice because we really want to give back to the community. You know, we really support hospice because the money stays here. Our employees, family, friends have all, had the use of hospice for their loved ones. And what the volunteers really do for hospice is they really come in and help your loved one or even help the family members through the support and ongoing, support groups. So it's very good that we're able to help hospice tonight by donating this money.
And then how did you guys come up with the money here? How did you raise this money?
This was a corporate donation.
Okay.
Corporate donation.
We don't want to keep her too long because, as you can see, Mary is answering your phones. We want you to get back to work. But again, thank you to NBT, a $2,000 donation. Let's take a look at what we are adding to. Our phones open since noon today, and they don't close until 8, so let's get a total update that you can continue to add to. $30,215 thus far. So thank you so much for everybody who's already donated. Thank you. Thank you for participating in Giving Tuesday. Now, call a friend. Let them know about hospice. Let them know why you picked this as your charity of choice to close out the year. 1-800-411-6367 is the number to call. And between now and 8 o'clock, we're going to hear from the patients, we're going to hear from the staff and the volunteers, and we're also going to hear from the generosity of local businesses stepping up and donating checks. Done.
Okay, Kristen, and like you said, we have all these checks, people who are donating, and joining me right now is Tammy Dunnigan. She's with the T-Shot Foundation, and $1,500 to hospice and palliative care. Thank you so much for coming on the program tonight and for donating. And tell me about the T-Shot Foundation.
T-Shot Foundation was formed in honor of my brother Keith Van Drieser, who passed away from lung cancer. And one phone call made our life a lot easier, although we were going through so much stress. And when we were deciding what to do for my brother, we decided that hospice would be the one that would get the money for it.
We were mentioning just at the top of the hour how important hospice is to so many people, and so many people say they wish they called earlier. For your family, what was it like?
We called plenty of time early enough that they told us when he wanted to go home that it was important that they were there with him and stuff, and they got him home, and that was the most important thing. He did go home, and our family was very, very pleased with that. So
How did you go about raising this money?
we did a golf tournament at Hidden Valley Golf Course. We had 28 teams, and we had a great day. So, and we're looking forward to next year's in May. Doing the same.
Fantastic. Tammy Dunnigan here with the T-Shot Foundation and $1,500 for hospice and palliative care. Kristen.
Don, so you've had Black Friday, Shop Small Saturday, Cyber Monday. Today is Giving Tuesday. So if you maybe scored an awesome deal in the stores, whatever money you saved, maybe you pick a charity and you donate. That's what Giving Tuesday is all about. We're making it easy for you. Make that charity Hospice. It's local, the money stays here, and all you have to do is pick up the phone and call the number on your screen, 1-800-411-6367. But we are in the holiday spirit here as well, so we have some incentives for you. If you donate $200, you're going to get 2 tickets to Epicurean Delight, and that's happening in April. If you've never heard of Epicurean, if you've never gone to Epicurean, go hungry. You are going to be treated to the most delicious local food you could possibly ask for, all happening in April, and you get 2 tickets for a donation of $200. Again, that's happening in April. Also, a $100 donation gets you in the running for several tickets. The Nutcracker, which is happening at the Stanley, put on by the Mohawk Valley Ballet. There are 2 performances with 4 pairs of tickets that we want to give away. $100 donation gets you in the running for that. Also, Scrooge at the Stanley, put on by Players of Utica. We have 4 pairs of tickets for their 2 performances as well. $100 gets you in the money for these tickets. Done.
Okay, Kristen, and once again, we have another check presentation here. And to give this check here, we have Michelle LaPaglia joining us, and she has $260. She's from Commercial Travelers. So how did you guys go about raising this money?
We do casual all week, and the company let us do sports theme on Fridays. So the company has 45 employees, and we raised $260.
That is fantastic. And is there a reason why you guys decided to help out hospice?
We had to use hospice for my father.
And what was that like for you? A lot of people say that it was comforting, but it is difficult, isn't it?
Yes.
What does it feel like to have your coworkers helping you out here?
It was awesome. Next year we can raise more money.
Thank you so much for coming on the program. It can be very emotional, but once again, $260 from Commercial Travelers and their employees. Thank you so much. And thank you, Michelle, for coming on the program tonight. Kristen.
Don, thank you. Another misconception of hospice is that it's only for cancer patients, but really any diagnosis, any age, really, for the terminally ill. So before we head off to break, I want to do a quick thank you to Eileen Townsend, donating $100 in memory of Arlene McDevitt. Thank you so much for that. And $500 coming in from Dick Myers in memory of Rosemary Myers. So thank you so much. Please pick up the phone. Help out our cause. Make this your charity to give to before the end of the year. 1-800-411-6367. Much more after the break.
We're back here tonight at Gilroy, Kernan, and Gilroy, and here for the Hospice and Palliative Care Telethon 2015. This is your chance on Giving Tuesday to give back to your local community, give back to hospice.
You know, when we talked about heading into the break that it's not just cancer and it's not just the elderly. Hospice helps all ages, all diagnosis. So you never know when hospice is going to come into your life. And really, the earlier you're able to make that call to hospice, the better. So please, pick up the phone. Let's keep this service in our area. 1-800-411-6367. And we're actually going to meet one of the patients of hospice right now, John, who perfect example of why calling hospice early is going to really add to your end of life.
Let's go to News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris.
It might be because there's the front door.
John Fredenberg fought a courageous battle, but hospice and palliative care soldiers have fought right by his side. While many might still associate hospice with abbreviated time, John found quite the opposite.
I think they're prolonging my life.
John began hospice care in June at his daughter's suggestion. He says hospice nurses give him more than just dependable medical care.
She helps me and gives me a little more to look forward to. Takes all my vitals and stuff. Makes sure I have the medication that I need.
Registered nurse Kimberly Boyson has been with hospice and palliative care for 4.5 years. During that time, she's learned that there is nothing cookie cutter about her job. Families don't fit into molds. Each is beautifully unique.
Everybody experiences this differently. And while it's routine for us as nurses in the hospice field, it's not routine for the families.
I thought they were nice.
John and Kimberly offer the same advice. If someone you love is dealing with serious illness or injury, don't call hospice with a heavy heart, but with hope, because that is what they bring.
Don't be afraid. Make the call. That's what they should do, because they do help you.
Do it sooner than later, because it's better to establish a relationship before things go real bad than to try and do it when it's crisis.
Jolene, thank you. And a reminder that every time somebody calls hospice, they're assigned an entire team, not just one nurse or two, an entire team of caregivers. If you need help right in the middle of the night, you just pick up the phone and somebody is there at your side no matter what you need. 1-800-411-6367. That's how we're going to continue to provide that kind of care in Oneida, Herkimer, and eastern Madison counties. Don.
Another check presentation over here, and $500 coming from Mohawk Valley Health System, and we are joined by Nancy Butcher here to deliver the news here. So you guys decided
side and on the giving side on Giving Tuesday rather than on the receiving side. From the cancer program, we also have a palliative care program as well, and oftentimes our patients have cancer, often need end-of-life care at home or here in the services, and it's really important that patients and people know what the services are. So even if we see them as an inpatient, they want to be home or they want to be close to their loved ones. So it's really nice that we collaborate with hospice palliative care and be able to direct the patients there so that they can be with their loved ones at their final moments.
and to really have options for patients, because some patients do want to be in a healthcare facility where they're very, very close to doctors 24/7, and some really do want to be at home.
Right, so that's key. I think it is truly personal, but I think it's really important as well that we honor their wishes, but if they want to be not in the hospital and be closer to home in a more home-like environment, I think that's really important. And I think that it's important, this telethon is great, that getting the word out, the services are available in our community.
Making sure that patient has control. Thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. Kristen.
Don, thank you. So again, that number, 1-800-411-6367. The ladies from NBT are here and ready to take your call, and only one person is on the phone right now. So we got a little bit of a lull in the action. I know you were interested in Don. Listen, he's off camera now. Now you can pick up the phone, 1-800-411-6367. So I want to run through some of these services that hospice does provide. Nursing, social services, home health staff, which we've been talking about a lot because 90% of the patients are cared for in the home, spiritual counseling, bereavement support. When the patient passes, hospice doesn't just go away. There's a whole support system here for you. A lot of people have built lifelong relationships with people just based on the support groups and realizing that you're not alone. 1-800-411-6367 is the number to call, and we thank you if you've already donated. When a terminal illness strikes a family, and Don touched upon this a little bit, everything seems a little bit harder in your life, and you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. When you call hospice, you're alleviating some of that stress. You're saying, you can handle this. I'm going to run out for a couple of minutes. I want to know that my loved one is still cared for. That's what hospice does. You don't need to take on this by yourself. 1-800-411-6367 is the number to call. Yes, these are volunteers. They're pointing, we're on camera. Listen, if we can pick up the phone and call them, they wouldn't be joking around, and they'd be answering the phones. Call now, she says. So please, help out this cause. Let's make 2015 a year to remember for hospice. 1-800-411-6367. Done.
And who do you have with you?
I have Joanne Jones and Ted Thomas from the Sequoia Valley Lions Club.
Okay, so what made you guys, first of all, decide to get involved and help out hospice?
We do a lot of community fundraising events. Community through hospice. Hospice does wonderful work with families in the community.
And $500, how did you guys go about raising this money?
Well, we have events during the year. We have a pancake breakfast. We have walks. We have different, we had something at the Sequoia Craft Fair. We raise money through the year in just small events that add up to big.
And that's one of the things I think that we've brought up many times before in the past with any type of charity event is that every little bit counts, doesn't it?
It does. Every little bit counts, and it all goes into a pool, and then we divvy it.
That when you're putting together a program like this, putting together different charity events, that you're educating the public, you're educating younger people to get involved.
Yes, you are. We're always looking for new members and younger members to help the community and reach out. This is a reach out organization.
Kathy Thomas joining us from Sequoia Lions Club here with a $500 donation to hospice and palliative care. Kristen.
Phone volunteers are on the phone taking your pledges. Thank you so much. Don't forget about those incentives. $200 gets you the 2 tickets to Epicurean Delight. $100 gets you in the running for tickets to Scrooge at the Stanley or the Nutcracker at the Stanley. So please pick up the phone. Don, look. All but two. All but two.
Yes, okay.
If you do get a busy signal, hang up, try back. When you do call and make a donation, we really need fewer than 2 minutes of your time. So 1-800-411-6367. I want to talk about the nursing care. Hospice provides regular in-home visits from registered nurses. And the nurse comes in and assesses the patient's needs, but also the family's needs. And here's something I really want to stress. When you call hospice, you're not saying goodbye to your doctors that you're familiar with. The doctors are still part of your life. The doctors that you've gone to see for the past 10 years of your life, 20, 30 years of your life, they're still in your life. So you're not saying goodbye to those physicians when you call hospice. So just a couple of things that people might not understand.
Yeah, and what we were just chatting with a representative from Mohawk Valley Health Systems. That's what she said. You know, they collaborate with hospice. It's important that these two organizations really work together to better give control to patients out there.
And you almost feel like when you hear something like that, when you donate here, or you donate to the Cancer Center, for example, you realize that they're working together. They have the same goal in mind, and that's quality of life, quality of the care.
And I think when we say quality of life, quality of that care, it's really about empowering patients, it's empowering families. People oftentimes think that when we say hospice, and I know this from personal experience, when we hear the word hospice, we think of end of life and there's not too long. But if we can make that phone call earlier, you're really giving yourself so much more control. You're giving the patient so much more control.
And maybe you're watching this and you want to make all of your state plans. Maybe you have it in writing that you want hospice to be called. You're giving a gift to your family. You really are when you do something like that. So I want to recognize a few people again right now. David and Deborah Hyatt, $400 donation in memory of Bob, Eleanor, Earl, and Margie. So thank you so much for that. And William and Bonnie Waldron, a $200 donation in honor of the hospice staff. And we always talk about how you bring these people into your home. They become family to you. I've spoken to so many different nurses between noon and now, and they get a call in the middle of the night. I said, oh, that must be so tough on you. She says, no, I'm happy to do
It's
it.
what they
That's
do.
my family. And here you have a $200 donation in honor of the hospice staff, and I think that says something.
The number to call is 1-800-411-6367. Again, 1-800-411-6367. We have a number of representatives here ready to take your call from MBT Bank, and literally the process only takes upwards of 2 minutes, if that.
Right. And they'll ask you certain questions like credit card information. Do you want your name read on TV? Really quick. 1-800-411-6367. And don't they look great? I love these shirts.
Oh, we got the blue memo.
I love it. So please, pick up the phone. Help out this cause. If you're looking to donate to a charity before the year is done, we can't make this any easier for you. The number's right there on your screen. 1-800-411-6367.
And we've had so many different organizations, different companies throughout the day who have been helping out with this telethon, with this process, helping to raise money for hospice and palliative care. And we have another total here for you that we want you to check out right now, popping it up on your screen, where we are thus far as we're moving about halfway through the hour here of this telethon as we round out our day. The number is...
Drum roll, please.
There it
we
is.
go.
We're at $37,900.
Thank you. And give yourself a little pat on the back. That's not easy to do in these tough times, but we're closing out a year. Maybe this is your charity of the choice, and like I mentioned, we cannot make this any easier for you. Pick up the phone. We need 2 minutes of your time, if that. 1-800-411-6367.
And as we move throughout this hour, we're going to be introducing you to patients who have utilized the services of hospice. We're going to be introducing you to their families as well, and they're going to tell you a similar story, that they're glad they made that phone call and they've made really lifelong friends.
And what we're doing here is trying to keep this service here locally in Oneida, Herkimer, and eastern Madison counties. We're back with much more after this. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us for our 2015 Hospice Telethon on News Channel 2. If you've already picked up the phone and donated to this wonderful cause, thank you. Now, tell your friends and family why you picked Hospice as your charity of choice.
The number to call right now is 1-800-411-6367. Give that number a call right now and help out Hospice.
Couple more names I really want to mention. Linda Makos giving $25 in memory of Robert Makos. Thank you so much for that. And Richard, this is a great story, Richard Garrett in memory of Eunice Garrett, his mother, giving $50. Today would have been her birthday, so that's a wonderful way to honor her. And Richard's sister worked and volunteered with NBT last year, right? So you know them very well. All right, so thank you so much for that, Richard, and helping out our cause. And you know, you see so many different people, and when you hear their names, you realize, wow, he's giving? Maybe I should give. What does he know that I don't know?
Exactly.
Call. These people know what they're talking about. 1-800-411-6367.
Once again, we want to introduce you to another person who has used the services of Hospice. And when we say that this person or this patient used the services, we're also saying that this person's family utilized the services of Hospice.
So we want to meet Margaret right now, and News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris has her story.
92-year-old Margaret Skepsis was a school nurse for 29 years. Not too long ago, she had a bad fall. She and her daughters feared she'd wind up in the hospital, but thanks to hospice and palliative care, she was able to stay in the assisted living facility she called home.
I says, I feel very comfortable. I says, I don't want anybody else except them to come in here. And then they kept coming every day to see how I was doing and taking my blood pressure, my pulse, and making sure that I was okay. Without them, the fall I took, I would land in the hospital. There's no question about it.
And good, just listen to your heart, okay? Anything else going on today that I should know?
Hospice has not only helped Margaret stay independent and active, the people who make up hospice have given her daughters peace.
It's such a supportive, comforting feeling for my sister and me, because not only are they giving her medical support, but they're like family now, and we know whenever there are problems, we can call them.
Daughter Debbie has another name for hospice and palliative care.
They're like a knight in shining armor. They come in and I just feel the pressure off of us at that time, and I know they're here 24/7, and it's a wonderful feeling.
Like so many others, Margaret's daughters were a bit surprised to learn their mother qualified for hospice care in the home. But they are so glad that she did, because it gave them all freedom and enhanced all of their lives. Their advice to you, if someone you love is dealing with serious illness or injury, call. Call and see if you qualify. To the Skepsis family, a call to hospice and palliative care isn't one that should be made with sadness, dread, and a sense of having given up, but rather one that be willingly made, because it can bring you peace and joy during a difficult time.
I would really, really encourage families to call hospice and find out. Not everyone is going to qualify. They have to meet certain criteria, but if they do, it's the most wonderful, wonderful thing it is.
Jolene, thank you. And Margaret has since passed, so our thoughts and prayers are with her family in this difficult time, and all of the local families right now who are going through their first round of holidays without their loved one. So we're thinking of you. Don.
Kristen, thank you. We have another check right here, this one for $1,000 coming from the home builders and remodelers of the Mohawk Valley. We have Mark and Lou joining us here to tell us, first, how did you guys come up with the money?
Well, we had a golf tournament every year, and this is in memory of Brady Endrick, who passed this past year. He was a longtime business partner of ours. Him and his father were EO for 32 years of the home builders, and he passed this last year. So hospice was very good to Brady and Jack in their time of need.
And how did you guys go about, how did you go about raising the money?
We had a golf tournament, and we had a greenie hole where people donated money towards Brady's memory.
There are so many different organizations out there that you can give to, and you had a personal reason, obviously, through you guys. But when you're deciding to come up with ways to go about doing this, how did you guys figure that out?
You know, it was in Brady's name. It was an easy one. He was such a part of in the fabric of our organization through the years. Did so much for us. We just wanted to give back. Hospice did well by him during his time of need and his family, and it was time for us to give back.
Thank you so much, Mark. And Lou, with $1,000 coming from the home builders and remodelers of the Mohawk Valley. Thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. Kristen.
Don, thank you. 1-800-411-6367, following their footsteps. A few more donations that I want to read to you right now. Dolores McDowell with a $200 donation in memory of Papo, okay. In memory of Papo. So thank you so much for that $200 pledge. That's going to go a long way, so that's wonderful. Thank you. Also, we have Dr. Robert and Joanne Burns in memory of their father of Robert and Joanne. So mother and father of Robert and Joanne giving $200. Thank you for that. Maria Tucci giving $200 in honor of Rosalie Morrow. So thank you so much. Pick up the phone. Let's follow in their footsteps. They're making hospice the charity of choice this year. It is Giving Tuesday. 1-800-411-6367. Don.
Talk about a big give right here. $4,000 coming from UFCW. We have Frank Doriso joining us. I want to make sure I get the last name right. So you guys came up with $4,000. How did you guys go about doing that?
Well, we too had a golf tournament this year. We have it every year, Charity One Golf Classic, and we raise money for all different charities. So we're happy to be able to provide
money for a lot of different charities with this golf tournament. Why did you decide this year to go with hospice?
Well, we give to hospice every year, but you know, this is hospice is an organization that if you've ever needed it, if you had a family issue or a person or a loved one of anyone that has needed the service, you know that it's in family at a time of need is again invaluable. So it's certainly needed, and in this community we have to make sure they stay here because we might be a small community, but we have all the issues of a larger community.
And one of the things too is $4,000 is a lot of money. This is a golf tournament. How many people do you have participating in this golf tournament?
Well, we raise quite a bit. Yeah, we have a full field, and it's a 2-day event, so we do a good job.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the program. Again, $4,000 right there, all to hospice and palliative care. So, yeah, a round of applause for everyone right here. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Again, from UFCW, and you can go right out over there. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We're having a little bit of a mic issue here, so I'm going to hang out with Kristen. We're going to move across the way here, and we're going to share the microphone.
Come to my set, Don. Speaking of technical difficulties with our microphone, but also something else, we don't know why we're having this problem, but we are having a little bit of a problem with our phone line. So if you are unable to get through, please don't give up on us. Keep trying, and if for whatever reason you're not able to get through before we close out the telethon tonight, we encourage you to call hospice tomorrow, and I have a phone number 735-6484, 735-6484. I'm going to continue to give you that number, 735-6484, but please keep trying to call the number at the bottom of your screen. This is a last resort.
Again, the number to call right here at the bottom of your screen is 800-411-6367. Give that number a call right now. We're here for the next, I want to say 25 minutes, if that clock over there is correct. So we want you to give a call. We want to hear the phone lines ringing. And like I said, we're having a little bit of technical problems with the telephone lines right now. But please keep trying to get through. Again, that number, 1-800-411-6367.
I want to mention to people real quick, we have some statistics. 858 patients were helped by hospice last year. That came to a whopping total of 28,000 visits. And it's not a 9-to-5 visit. These nurses, the staff here at hospice, they are ready to come to your bedside no matter what hour of the day, night. They're here for you. And I mentioned to Don, I spoke to one nurse earlier today, and I said, oh, I can't believe you had to be in Boonville at 5 a.m. She's like, no, I'm happy to do it. They called me. They need me. This is an extension of my family now. So it's so touching. So please call. Let's keep this service here in Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison counties. 1-800-411-6367.
And you hear so many different people who work for hospice. Some of them are volunteers, and they become lifelong friends of the families of these people who have utilized their services, even after the passing of someone in that family. So it's really a touching story for so many people.
I remember a few years ago, one of our photographers was going in and meeting with a patient to do one of our little stories, our vignettes, and, peeked into a room and saw this circle of people. And, you can't help but ask questions. What is that all about? It was a bereavement support group, and all of these people were able to get counseling, and it's great to have those experts on staff. But more importantly, they sat around a room with people who are going through the exact same thing they are, and they realize, hey, I'm not alone. There are other people who are going through this too. They become friends, and now they have their own support group outside of hospice.
Exactly. And then even during the process, you certainly have family members that are there to help out. And this is what hospice does for you as well. They help you out as you're going through this process.
You mentioned running out and getting groceries. It sounds like you don't want to leave the bedside of your loved one to run out and you just need a little bit of alone time. You need to escape that situation, even if it's just for 10 minutes, get some fresh air. But with hospice, you know that your loved ones are in good hands. They are not alone.
Exactly, and it can be really overwhelming too. Someone is very, very ill, and there's so many medical aspects to it that we don't know anything about. But to know that you have an expert coming into the house every so often to make sure that everything checked vitals, to go over all that stuff, it gives you peace of mind, and it also really does give the patient peace of mind.
No matter what time of day, hospice is there. Please, let's keep this service local. 1-800-411-6367. After the break, we're going to meet another patient who just had to share his story for our viewers. Stay with us. Want me to double fist? Test, test, 1, 2 at the Hospice Telethon here on News Channel 2. Keep going. Got me better? Got me better? Yeah, I'm hearing it better myself. I can hear myself now. Test, test, 1, 2. Dolores McDowell. Diane Riley, in honor of her hospice nurse, Navaz Dabar. Dottie Spina, in memory of Marion Dunn.
Back here tonight, and we are live from Gilroy, Kernan, and Gilroy, if I can say it correctly, for the Hospice and Palliative Care 2015 telethon.
Yeah, it's so awesome of Gilroy, Kernan, and Gilroy to welcome us in. We really take over their headquarters, so we thank you for that. 1-800-411-6367. It's gotten very, very quiet. I don't know if we're entertaining you that much, and that's why you're just listening. Not for that person. But please, pick up the phone. Let's help out hospice. 1-800-411-6367.
We have a number of volunteers here tonight from MBT Bank. They are manning the phones here tonight, so they want to take your call. And the process is so simple. It's less than 2 minutes. You give the number a call that's on your screen right there. It's 800-411-6367. We hear some people calling up right now. We like
better.
that, but we still have a lot of people who are doing nothing right now. So give the number a call and make a donation. And we also talked about this a little bit earlier too, that every little bit counts. Yeah, we love those big donations, but every little bit counts. So if you can help out in any way, please do so.
You're adding to our giant total, $5, $10, $100, whatever you're able to give. If you can give $200, you get 2 tickets to Epicurean Delight in April. Want to recognize Dottie Spina, giving $25 in memory of Marion Dunn, and a special thanks to hospice nurse Mary Allen. Thank you so much for that. Also, Diane Riley giving $100 in honor of hospice nurse Navaz Debar. So again, you see these donations coming in where they're honoring the hospice nurses who came in and cared for their loved ones. It really speaks volumes when you have them calling and making a donation in their name.
A lot of these family members say that these hospice staffers are angels in their lives. And you're going to meet another person here who is utilizing the services of hospice, a person that decided to call hospice and call hospice early.
Yeah, that's the key. News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris has his story.
Here, honey, here's some water for you.
Thank you so much.
Mama love you, Budgie.
You can't help but smile watching Lyle Johnson interact with his mother, Minnie. That love and joy are needed right now. Doctors found a lesion on Lyle's spine back in April. Back then, Lyle never really even heard of hospice and palliative care. Now, he's one of their biggest supporters.
I'm grateful that hospice is here. It has really given me another side of life to live for, because I get to be home.
Hospice case manager Crystal, affectionately called Chrissy by Lyle and his mom, has become like family. This is more than just a job. Lyle says she never clocks out of his life.
She's great, great. I mean, if you ever need her for anything, she could be gone or she could be on another job. She makes sure she gets back to you, and the work she provides for me is very helpful too. She makes sure I'm not in no pain.
You don't see any pain or sorrow in this home, and this family thanks hospice and palliative care for that.
But with hospice, I mean, Chrissy comes, and it's a joy to have her, and I have time to have my son home. And he said, Mama, I'm so glad you're taking care of me. He said, I'd rather be here at the house.
Chrissy says the feeling is mutual. She too has received many gifts from her time with Lyle and Minnie.
I've been able to manage his pain, manage his symptoms, make whatever time he has left most enjoyable, most quality. And they have a little special place in my heart.
Chrissy, thank you, sweetheart.
For a man who'd barely heard of hospice and palliative care, Lyle Johnson can't say enough about the organization that became his rock and the case manager who became like family. If someone you love is ever faced with difficult diagnosis, he says don't wait. Find out if hospice can do for you what it did for him and his mom.
Definitely give it a try, because you don't know what you're missing. I came in thinking negative, I came in thinking whoever comes to hospice doesn't leave, but I was totally wrong. And like I said before, you'll be missing a great opportunity if you let this program go by you, because it offers a lot, and it gives you another chance of life.
He's well loved. He's well loved.
Jolene, thank you. So again, all ages, all diagnoses, and we welcome Ann Tanzi here, the CEO of Hospice locally. Thank you so much for welcoming us, and in letting us meet these patients who really tell the story of what hospice is all about. And for a moment, everyone was on the phones. I think everyone's going to take a little bit of a break and listen to you speak, but music to your ears when you hear those phones ringing.
Absolutely. I can't even say how much we appreciate all the support that we get from the community. Honestly, standing here and just representing all of our staff and all the work that they do every day, and we're honored to do what we do, but we definitely need the funds to help us do the things that we do.
What do the donations mean? People want to know exactly where is their money going, and you can honestly say it's staying here in Oneida, Herkimer, and eastern Madison counties, but specific programs, like where could a $250 check be used the most today?
Well, my quick answer to that is certainly all the bereavement care that we do is completely unreimbursed. Once a patient passes away with hospice, the reimbursement that we may get from insurance at that point ends, but we stay with that family for 13 months beyond that. So that whole entire program really is an unreimbursed piece for us.
Talk about the training of your staff and your volunteers. It takes a very special person to be a hospice staff member.
It does. It's a very difficult transition, particularly for clinical staff who are used to working in a more controlled setting. Then now we're out in people's homes and are the most poignant part of their lives. I also say, and I just said to the staff this morning, there's no more important time and there's no do-over in what we do. And just like the birth of a baby and the death of a loved one, there's no more emotional time, and we have to do it right the first time.
You know, it's one thing to go to school and get your degrees and you read your books and you study, but just knowing how the bedside manner and the emotional connection that your staff has with a patient, sometimes you can't teach that, so you really need to, you have the best.
You do, and I think it comes natural to some people, and we do a really good job, I think, at medically training about disease and illness and how to treat, but we don't do a great job, not with nurses or physicians, on how to deal with this part of the illness, and it's just as important, if not more important.
Well, that's why we have you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for again welcoming us into this important charity. And one more message to people on this Giving Tuesday. If you're going to make that one last plea to people, what would you say to them to get them to pick up the phone?
You know, please definitely think about what we do every day. And if it was your time and your life with your family, you would want to know that we were here and strong and viable to help you in that time.
And thank you, Ann Tonzi, the CEO of Hospice.
Okay, Kristen, thank you. We're joined by Chip now with Gilroy, Kernan, and Gilroy. $500 plus the fact that we're utilizing your facilities here. We've kind of taken over all day today. Thanks for coming on the program tonight. Let's start with the $500 and how'd you guys raise this?
You know, this is really, it's on everybody here pitches in, and this is really our support on an ongoing basis for hospice. We you know, obviously we're neighbors and we do a lot together over the course of the year, and so this is our team, you know, working together to do this.
And then also you're utilizing your whole facility here, it seems like. I feel like we've taken it over completely. So what's it like to have us all come in here and take over?
You know, it's great. We actually, you know, we look forward to it every year, and the whole building is kind of a buzz. Plus, it's kind of neat because every time I look around, there's somebody else that I know standing there and say, "Oh, hi, what are you doing here?" So it's a great way to get reconnected with some old friends. You know, just listening to Ann here talking about what they do. I think it's neat for our team here, you know, to learn a little bit more about what hospice does. And, you know, we know a lot, but there's always something new that we pick up. So it's great to have everybody here. And it's always fun to have all you guys here with us, too.
Thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. Thank you for letting us use the facility. And also, thanks for the $500. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Kristen, over to you.
Don, thank you. I want to run through again that this is not just cancer patients that hospice serves. Respiratory disease, neurological illness, cardiac disease, AIDS, all ages, all diagnoses. So please, if you think that you can be helped by hospice, don't wait to call. Make that call soon. Make that call now. 1-800-411-6367 will keep that service here in our local area. And if this is a two-part telethon. Yes, we're trying to raise money, but it's also informational. And if there's something that you still are not getting the right answer on hospice, call the office tomorrow. Ask your questions. Maybe hospice is for you. Maybe it's not for you. All you can do is ask. Done.
Kristen, thank you. We are joined by two people here with a big check. First, I'm going to say the names. We have Marty Williams and Megan joining us right here. And this is from the Christine Trinkus Foundation in memory of Christine Trinkus. $2,500 right here. A round of applause, definitely. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start off with Christine. This is in memory of Christine, and I guess take me back to when you guys first started doing this.
Okay, we started, actually my mom passed in May of 2002, and since then we've had done a golf tournament every year. So we've been participating in the telethon since her passing. So hospice is very special to our family. My mom actually worked for hospice. She worked in the business office. So this is our way of giving back. And it was very special for her to be able to pass it home with all of us by her side. And that was her wish. And her birthday was a couple weeks before her passing, so she wanted to be home, and she made it. And so we were all there, and hospice let us do that. And without them, it wouldn't have happened. So that was part of, her plan to go to heaven.
And it gave her control, didn't it?
Absolutely. Oh, she controlled all of us. But she right down to the last minute. So our way of giving back is through the golf tournament. And we have to thank even our sponsors and all of our people who attend the tournament year after year. We wouldn't be able to do this without them. So it all works together. And I just want to say, the telethon's almost over, and even if you have $5, call in. It's 2 cups of coffee. That's the way I look at it.
That's fantastic.
And, so, $5 is more than what they've had to start with.
Marnie and Megan joining us tonight with the Christine Trinkus Foundation. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you for the $2,500. Again, $2,500. And we have more to come. Stay with us. We're back here tonight. We're live from Gilroy, Kernan, and Gilroy, here for the 2015 Hospice and Palliative Care Telethon. Rounding it out.
But it's the end of the night, and this is a wonderful cause. And for a lot of people, this is celebrating life. So please, pick up the phone and call. We're rounding out our telethon for 2015, 1-800-411-6367.
We have just about less than 2 minutes away from the end of this broadcast, but we still want you to give us a call. Again, that number, 800-411-6367.
For everybody who's already donated, thank you so much for making hospice your charity of choice as you close out 2015 and look ahead to the new year. You never know when you're going to utilize the services of hospice. And maybe, you're more familiar with what hospice is all about, and you want to pick up the phone tomorrow and call the office and ask a few more questions, because you never know. Maybe it's in a few weeks, maybe it's in 20 years, maybe it's more than that. So please, hospice does not mean giving up hope. Hospice helps patients reclaim the spirit of life.
Exactly. Take control of their life. A lot of people right now are trying to figure out, what charity am I going to give to as we round out 2015. We're hoping that on this Giving Tuesday, you're going to give to hospice and palliative care.
And I think we're making it pretty easy for you. Let's take a look at our total for the evening. And again, thank you, $66,900. $66,900, and the phones are still ringing. If you were not able to get through and you're still not able to get through using the number on your screen, please, we encourage you, we invite you to call hospice tomorrow and make your donation. And thank you to everyone who's already picked up the phone and made that pledge.
And also a big thank you to all of the different organizations and companies who have volunteered by way of answering the phones throughout the day today.
Thank you so much. Have yourself a great night and a great rest of the year.